there, folks. Welcome to the channel. I'm glad you could be here because we have got a wild episode lined up for you today. We're going to be making a classic Italian sausage that dates back to over 500 years. I'm talking about the Zamponi Modena. This is such an interesting sausage because it was basically born out of necessity and survival.
Central northern Italy, around the 1500s. Food was scarce.
A lot of starvation, people were dying, and at that time they were also being invaded. Food was running out quickly. As far as farm animals go, all they had were their pigs, and the invaders were taking the live animals. And one chef from the court of Pico della Mirandola had this ingenious idea to slaughter the pig and stuff the meat and other ingredients into the trotter of the pig, creating the zamponi. They were then able to preserve the meat and then cook it later. Having that meat already slaughtered made it less ideal for the invaders. And that culinary ingenuity 500 years ago has become an Italian delicacy enjoyed by Italians and people all over the world. And that sausage today is protected by a PGI certification, ensuring that it's still made to this day according to the traditions of its region. And that's what we're going to be making today, folks. Let's get it.
We're going to start with the most iconic part of the sausage, and that's the front leg of the pig. Depending on the size pig you have, yours could be quite large. We need to bring the skin down to about the ankle, and then with a bone saw, we'll cut the ankle, leaving us with, in essence, a sock of sorts. So with a sharp knife, just begin to very gently, very slowly separate the skin from the meat. If you have a great relationship with your butcher would probably be happy to do this for a small fee. And there we have it. Okay, there's our two pieces. We're going to clean that up to remove any bone fragments, but as you can see right here, we in essence already have our casing ready to go. And we paid very special attention separating the skin from the meat to ensure that we didn't puncture the skin in any way, no cuts, anything like that. Absolutely beautiful. This gets set to the side while we take a look at our meat. The kind of meat you use is really, it's whatever you have. I'm going to be using pork skin. That is a pretty important ingredient in this recipe. Matter of fact, about 35% of the recipe is made up of pork skin. In addition to pork skin, you have pork back fat, pork belly, pork shoulder. You can also use pork leg, the one you just trimmed up. The recipe link will be in the description box below if you want to give this a go. All right, so we're going to be doing two different grinds for this sausage. The pork, the belly, and the back fat are going to be ground more coarsely. The skin, we're going to grind it a little smoother, a little finer. So we're going to keep it separate during the processing. We do want to cut this up into pieces that are comfortable enough to fit into your grinder. And like I said, you do want to keep the portions separate. So this first half right here, that's going to be a coarse grind. We're going to set it to the side. And then, of course, our skin, we're going to process the same way. When you're cutting pork skin, make sure that you have a razor-sharp knife. It certainly makes it a whole lot easier to process the skin. This knife is a Wüsthof from bestkitchenknives.com. Love it. Okay, now that that's done, we can get it chilled so that we can grind it. And remember, we are keeping it separate. So the skin on the left is going to get ground finer than the pork and the fat on the right-hand side. As far as the spices go, this is what we're looking at. And it's a very interesting festive type sausage. We're going to be making 2 kilos today because I think that'll fill up that casing that we've got. And right here, we're going to start off with some salt. We have black pepper and cure number 1. Cure number 1 is completely optional. The only reason I added it is to preserve the color and maybe give it a slight hammy flavor, but you do not need it in this recipe. We have minced garlic, some cinnamon, yum, and then we've got a little clove. We're adding fennel pollen because I think that'll go great with everything else we got here. And then, of course, savor ye. If you know, you know. Let's not forget about the wine. Whatever your favorite wine is, or a nice Italian full-bodied wine, that's what we're going to be adding. And right at the last minute, I did add a touch of Calabrian pepper, which I didn't film, but it will be in the recipe. I'm combining the garlic and the wine so that those flavors can infuse. And we're just going to set that to the side. Let's get everything ground up. This looks great. We've got a beautiful grind. Our meat and fat ground on a 10 millimeter, and our skin was ground on a 6 millimeter plate. Now it's time to mix. In a bowl, let's add our spices, and then we're going to add our wine and garlic. And honestly, this kind of has like a Geta aroma. You know what I'm talking about? We're also adding a little extra liquid. I happen to have some very collagen-rich pork stock that I think is going to go beautiful with this recipe. In with that. And this is what our collagen-rich pork stock looks like when it's solidified. I mean, it is a gelatin. Incredible flavor and a lot of richness from this stock. On a low speed in our KitchenAid, we're only making 2 kilos and this fits perfectly in that 5 or 6 quart KitchenAid. We're going to mix this until that farce gets incredibly sticky, incredibly tacky. And wow, I could just tell you right now, that's perfect. Grab a little handful, turn it upside down. Yep. When it sticks to the bottom of your hand, you are done. So into the sausage stuffer it goes so we can finish up this process. We're using a 5-pound sausage stuffer with the largest horn available. For this particular sausage though, truth is, you don't need a sausage stuffer. I mean, you could stuff it by hand. Just make sure you pack it in there nice and tight. All right, I'm gonna see if I can get all 2 kilos into this small stuffer. I think we can. Hang on a minute. One more little bit. All right, there we go. Perfect. Load it up onto the base. And we need to sew up that front leg right quick because I think it's going to be a little bit easier by the time we're done. I may be wrong, but this is how we're going to be doing it. So I'm going to stitch some twine around the perimeter of the top of that leg. So the idea here is that we should just be able to pull the strings, kind of like drawstrings, and it'll tighten everything up around the top. So roughly about every inch, I'm inserting the needle, and then 1 inch later, the needle comes out, and I'm creating these horizontal stitches both on the inside and the outside. That should bring everything together when we pull the drawstrings that we're left with. This is what the end result looked like. Notice how we have it around the perimeter, and then when we give this a little pull, it tightens up. And then at that point, we can securely fasten it and whatnot. But for this, I think it's going to be perfect. If you know of a better way, let me know in the comment section below. Let's load this thing up and get it full of meat. Perfect. And you know what? That took almost 2 kilos. I had to take a little bit out because it was spilling out of the top. Now, we need to tie this off. I do feel like this is going to give us the results we're looking for. We'll wait and see. Simple knot first. Make sure nothing is impeding and then give it a tighten. Oh yeah, perfect. Okay, I love it. From what I'm to understand, this is exactly what it's supposed to look like. But once again, if you are familiar with this dish, let me know if you guys do it any differently. I am going to secure that and tie it off. Now you can trim the top if you want. You could leave it just like that. I did end up trimming it a little bit, make it a little prettier. And now we're going to let this hang out in the fridge overnight because I want the cure to do its job before we cook it. So we'll see you tomorrow. It's now the next day and it's time to cook our sausage. Is this even considered a sausage? I don't even know. It's a sausage in my book. We need to cook this low and slow. We want these ingredients to be nice and tender, that collagen to be broken down. And there's a couple different ways that you could do this. You could stick this into some hot water, 175 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to do it a slightly different way, but similar results. One thing I did notice online was that a incision is made right here at the hoof. Now what I did was I came right at the very end of the hoof, stuck a knife in there and went all the way through. And that's so that maybe you get a little breathing space as this sausage cooks. I'm not sure what's going to happen. This is our first time making this. And so I'm hoping we don't have a disaster on our hands. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this into a vacuum sealed bag. We're going to be cooking this with a little more precision by using sous vide. So we're going to seal that off. And here in a minute, we're going to put this into a water bath with the immersion circulator set to 175 degrees or 176 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a very modern way of cooking this dish. Traditionally, the Zamponi di Modena was just stuck in a pot of water. You know, maybe you added some bay leaf and other seasonings. Maybe that's optional. And you would just put it to a simmer and let it cook until it's done. Sous vide does offer precision cooking, and I've got a lot going on in the kitchen right now, so we're just going to stick it in here and let it do its thing. At the end of the day, the results are going to be the exact same. The only thing we're not going to have to worry about is any fluctuation in temperature, as this is going to maintain a very precise temperature, whatever we set it at. And so we're going to set it for 176F, and we're going to let it hang out in there for 4.5 hours. Once it's done, we'll pull it out, give it a slice.
Check it out. A little bit of a blowout there on the hoof. I thought our cut was big enough, but I guess it wasn't. Or maybe we cooked it a little too long. I did probably about 4 hours at 175. Maybe could have come in a little bit sooner. This wasn't a huge hoof. This is, I don't know if you could see here, I mean, this is incredibly sticky. Just the amount of collagen that has been rendered through the cooking process is unbelievable. So this should be a very rich flavored sausage. And I got to tell you, the aroma coming from it is very festive. Definitely picking up the cinnamon, red wine, even the cloves. And that's just, you know, on the slice. Let's give it a smell. Wow. That smells wonderful. Okay. Here we go. I believe this is typically not eaten just by itself like this. I think this is eaten with lentils around the end of the year, maybe even December 31st kind of a meal. All right, I'm just going to take a bite right into it. The sausage looks like it's held together beautifully. I do think this is something that needs to be eaten while it's hot because the cooler that it gets, the more gelatinous it'll be. And so let's just bite right into it and see how we did. Oh, wow. That has a wonderful flavor. I really wasn't expecting it. The skin that we used in the recipe broken down beautifully. You can't really pick it all up. I'm actually going to slice this. I feel like this might be a little bit easier to eat on a slice. I felt like that skin was giving me some issues here. All right, we're just going to have a little slice of it like this. I think adding a little of that fennel pollen is going really well with the sweetness of the wine and the cinnamon and the clove. I mean, it's bringing a very festive, you know, flavor to this. Incredibly rich, as you can imagine. Wow. I am pleasantly surprised. I tend to have a bit of a texture issue from time to time, especially when I'm eating things that have a lot of, you know, cartilage and I'm not expecting it. Maybe fats that are being problematic when it comes to breaking down and they're just kind of chewy and things like that. For me, those aren't the best eating experiences. This is delicious. I mean, the pork flavor is amazing. The skin that we added was ground and has basically broken down and it's very soft. It's ultra, ultra rich. And so, you know, whenever you eat it, you're definitely getting that kind of lip smacking element. I do feel like cutting it up like this is easier than just, you know, I've already eaten half of it, than just taking a bite out of it. But the skin is very soft. It's very flavorful as well. Wow, I'm kind of shocked. I like it. This is 100% worth making. It's delicious and it's wildly entertaining. I mean, the presentation alone is going to have people talking. There are a couple different formats when it comes to this sausage. If you have a difficult time getting the pig hoof, or maybe you have an issue with pig hoof and you just want to, you know, give the filling a go, just stuff it into a casing, you know, stuff it into a fibrous casing or a collagen casing or, you know, whatever medium to large size diameter casing you want. But anyway, there's one with a pig hoof and one without a pig hoof. The filling is going to be the exact same for both of them. And I kind of like the experience with the pig hoof. I mean, it's kind of wild. So anyway, let me know if you get a chance to make it. I'll put a recipe link in the description box below. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions about today's recipe, about the process, leave them in the comments section below. If you're new to this channel and you enjoy the art of making different sausages from around the world, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell because we're uploading a brand new sausage making tutorial every day this month and I don't want you to miss it. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. The amount of flavor coming from this meat filling is off the charts. Enhanced stock that we added, all that skin, all that collagen. It's seasoned perfectly. Oh yeah.